Alright guys, today we're talking about a ice comparison video, but it's going to be a little bit different format, so to speak. Not really format, just different context. So what happened was I was out doing my Lime Creek run with FSC 13.2.8, and then I had this Kia go by me. Now, almost all Lime Creek is double yellows. So it's no passing, right? But he was going like 2 miles an hour faster than me, and he desperately had to go around, so he did. And so that's why I'm picking on him in this particular context. Okay? So there you go. I just want to give you that introduction to let you know here's why I'm picking on the Kia K4 GT line Turbo. Okay? Alright, so 2025 Kia K4 GT line Turbo, 29 miles per gallon combined, has a 12.4 gallon tank. The comparison trip, and you could argue about this, but whatever, we'll go from there. The comparison trip is Lime Creek Road, the downhill from Coco's Corner down to Ray Vista. Okay, so this trip was 9 miles, used 1.1 kilowatt hours. Now, normally I don't do 1.1s, I don't do points on kilowatt hours, but I don't think it's quite fair to say it's 2 kilowatt hours. And obviously, anything over 1, you would round up to 2 in the case of kilowatt hours. So I made this adjustment, that's why. Let's go from there. So 1.1 kilowatt hours, 12 cents cost of energy. Yes, sirree, Bob. All right, so we're getting about 7.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Regular unleaded gas today, $2.90. Trip cost in terms of gas price, 4%. Yes, he's not going to go very far. That's the way it is. Too bad. Okay, so cost of energy range, 35 miles per gallon. What? It's 32 miles per gallon. It really should be 29, sorry. What difference does it make, right? Okay, 32 miles per gallon times 4%, 1.3 miles. Now, the 3.2, I think, is actually the highway as opposed to combined, but you get you know. So 1.3 miles will get you from Coco's Corner out on the street down to the entrance of El Rancho Seco out there on Lime Creek. Range comparison. Really? I used 32 consistently, didn't I? Okay, 9 divided by 32, 0.3 gallons. 0.3 times $2.90, 70 cents worth of gas. Take that 78 cents divided by 0.11, comes out to 7 kilowatt hours. In this case, because we are getting 7 miles per kilowatt hour, I use 7, so 7 times 7 is 49. So Big Ray 1 could make this trip about 7 times for the cost of one trip for that Kia K4. Alright, full tank range. So it's a 2.4 gallon tank. Here I'm using 29. Okay, whatever. 12.4 times 29 is 359 miles. That's about 9 trips to Walmart and back from my house, or a 40-mile round trip. 2.4 times 290, it'll cost you $35.96 to fill up that tank. Okay, if you take that cost, $35.96 divided by 0.11, you end up with 326 kilowatt hours. 326 times 5 works out to 1,630 miles. And yes, I'm not going to use the 7 here because, let's face it, on the Lime Creek, we're going downhill. So that makes it a lot easier. Okay, that's combined driving. Car cost $29,500, more or less. There were various prices around, but let's go with that. It seemed like that was kind of middle of the road. So basically what we're saying is you could buy 1.5 K4s for one Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. Alright, so let's move on to our chart, shall we? Energy cost per mile for the Kia 4 GT Line Turbo, 10 cents per mile. I was surprised because another one I had 9 cents and this came out to 10. I don't know. As usual, the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, 2 cents. Range on one fill-up, the Kia is 369. And the EPA estimated range is 363 for that Model 3 rear-wheel drive, long range. Cost of fill-up, $35.96 at $2.90 per gallon. And for that Tesla, $8.80 at 11 cents per kilowatt hours. The weight surprised me. Okay. So that Kia is 3,283 pounds. Model 3, 3,753, or about 300 pounds difference. That's two adults, right? Anyway, whatever. Cargo space, 14.6, but I mean, what do you expect? The K4 is a small car. And of course, the Model 3, 21 cubic feet. The ADAS on that Kia, it does have adaptive cruise control with what they called stop and go. And it did have driving assist, apparently lane keeping, if I understood it right. And of course, in your Model 3, you have adaptive cruise control, autopilot's included, and you could also buy full self-driving. And yes, I do have FSD, or FSD supervised. Okay, gas tax equivalent. Okay. Based upon going 10,000 miles, the estimate is about $69 for gas tax for this Kia. And of course, for the Tesla, it's a $200 flat tax. If you go out and buy it now, there's an additional $400 tax just for buying an EV in Texas. Retail cost, 29.5K for that Kia, 42,000 for the Tesla Model 3. And the 0-60 time, 7.1 seconds. Now I just added this, but this Kia K4 GT Line Turbo is supposed to be at least a semi-performance car. At least you would think so. 7.1 seconds, 0-60. And when I went back and looked, the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, 4.9 seconds. Wow. Alright, so the crash test safety for this Kia K4, it's new in 2025, so this is a brand new model. It's based on the Forte, is that the name of it? But anyway, this replaces that. So it's a IAH top safety pick small car 4-door sedan. And as always, you should go review. Don't take my word for it. You should go review it yourself. But I will say this: actually, a lot of this is green marks, so that sounds pretty good. What I found curious is, and I saw somebody else had this too, the updated side test. Did they change the side test? I don't know. The updated side test has a few yellow marks. And when you look at those yellow marks, you kind of wonder, how safe is this? But that's not for me to decide, that's for you. It has some nice features, right? As far as driver assist. A lot of nice driver assist features, so seems like it'd be worth getting. But anyway, whatever, peace and harmony. Um, the one thing it didn't do is say, wait, that's a double yellow, you can't go across it. But we don't want to put, if the driver's in control, the driver should be allowed to go across the double yellows, because sometimes you have to. Things happen. I mean, I've done it myself going around bicycles. Okay, actually that was it with FSD running. It went past the yellows. Okay, there we go. I mean, if you're in the market for this, I can see why. But when I look at the 0 to 60 time, not that I looked at on any other performance characteristics, I'm kind of wondering why. Okay, if you really want a sporty sedan, seems like something else would be a better choice. But what do I know? Okay, but if this is what you're into, this is what you're into. Go for it. I will tell you, this is the one that always gets me. But it has so. Actually, you know what? I didn't hear that car go by, so it wasn't that loud. Okay. It has an automatic transmission, so it doesn't have manual transmission. For those of you who think you have to have a manual to do that soul, it doesn't. It wasn't loud, at least not that I remember. I guess I was more bothered by the fact that he passed me with the double yellows. Although, to be fair, in the spot where he passed me, at least you had a decent view, right? It was straight at that time. Okay, but I'm wondering why you would pick this car. I get it, the price seems pretty reasonable, and chances are whoever had this car, it probably wasn't a what do you want to call it? It probably wasn't a turbo. It probably had the 2-liter engine, which was a little bit better gas mileage. But then again, why are you going down Lime Creek if you don't have something to prove? With a gas car, I mean, I'm trying to show that FSD can hold the line, or if it doesn't, call it out for it. And it's gotten better, FSD that is. But anyway, that's not what this is about, is it? Anyway, peace and harmony. As always, all I really want to do is encourage you all to think through what you're buying and why you're buying it. Okay, and yes, gas price $2.90, although it came down a little bit after this video, so I don't know. It surprised me how much gas prices fluctuate lately, but that's the way it is. Okay.